also, you can't really do that with your king on c1. You want it closer to the king side. So
Yeah, now Wesley wants to have his king in a position to guard the g-pawn, thus allowing white to kind of make this a real threat that Amon is saying. But he's going to play tickle here a little bit. I don't think he's going to repeat, because why? When you're the only one who can win and your opponent's down on time.
yeah,
But maybe Wesley doesn't exactly see the forced win yet, so I imagine he's calculating moves like f5 right now. In fact, here he goes.
He has to play f5. I don't think there's any other way to proceed. You have to take that. I guess black can try for the move f4 soon, which he can think about. As soon as you take on as soon as you take on b5, there's g4 in the position. But I think black is pretty close to a draw here, I would say.
There you go. f6, I think, is kind of key, because that's going to allow the rook to move without f5 hanging. But
was king e2 important there?
Yeah, I think king e2 is coming, though, and then h5 and h6. I mean, this looks scary for Giri.
Was king e2 important last move after f6, so that when the rook moves, rook takes f5?
So
maybe he's done it anyway. I'm not sure, but
after f6, you're saying king e2 with tempo. That could have been really interesting. Yeah, because the trade would favor white. White is going to win the king and pawn ending. Yeah, he may be winning here anyway, but I agree with you that could have been a tempo missed by Wesley, an opportunity missed.
Yeah. Well, this looks pretty close to a draw, although look at that time. He has got to show us now, how accurate he can be with seconds on the clock, because king g1 is coming.
He's living off the increment. That time he got down to about 1 second with 2 seconds on the clock for increment. This is time pressure like we haven't seen it yet in any of the games, Amon.
Yep, this is very tough. He's trying to. He's gaining time right now, and he realizes that he only has to play king e5, king e4, and just
right. That's key. Once you find that sort of you figured out the draw. Okay, well the white king's going to come to f3 now, which is.
Yeah. And then you get more space for your rook with rook h1, so I don't think he'll be that concerned with that.
Is g4 an idea? A little trick?
g4, yeah.
g4, rook g5, h7. Rook takes g4, king h3.
Yeah, I don't know if he sees that, but that looks really good.
That was. I don't know if he saw this little trick, but that might have been.
You almost have to play rook h4, I think.
But if that was the case, then if g4, rook h4, we almost have a chance for a second pass pawn. But okay, maybe.
One
maybe
thing
it
I know,
holds anyway.
But one thing I know is that the h and g pawns, if black can get his king to h7, it is a draw, even without the f pawn. Even if he managed to become connected with g5 and h6. I think there was a famous game from the World Blitz where Magnus Carlsen drew his black against Levon Aronian, and Levon was like, man, what the heck? I have two connected pass pawns, and he's just sitting on g6 and rook on a6 for black, and just a draw. He's gone for it.
He's gone for this idea, which is a fun one, to free this opportunity for the king to come up.
Yeah.
Well, it's his last-ditch chance to try to win. Probably still a draw. Resourceful heads up there by Giri. What in the world? Wesley, did he just trick him to a win?
Rook g1, rook g3. I think he's trying to.
I think he did. I think Wesley just swindled him.
Yeah, he had the rook h4 move. Quite impressive.
Whoa! We just saw a rook-ending win, and Giri is not happy about that. Going to take his break, rips out his headphones, and we have the Empire struck back on that one, Amon.